Hey, welcome to Unpack Radio. I am your host, Norris the Pope Johnson. And I know people like, wait a minute, this is a different look. Where are you? You know, sometimes situations change in life, and sometimes you have to progress forward. So the name of the game today is Progressing Forward. And we are now on Rip Radio, and we will be here for a while. We like the look. It's nice and smooth. It's nice and sexy in here. So we gonna see where we can do a rep. So no drama. Just sometimes you got to move forward. Now let me introduce my guest. This guy got 35 years. I said it, 35 years of experience. He done been through it all. My man, Steve Shaw.
Hey man, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just great. Hey, there you go.
We got a little feedback. I want to make sure.
You getting feedback? How's it now? How's it now?
Let me check. That sounds perfect. I can hear you. I can hear me. So how's it going?
It's going wonderful. You know, I just got my good pump in today, so I feel great. We're going to discuss a few issues. How I found out about you was you'll never lift 315 pounds ever in your life. And I brung that home to my nephew. I brung that to the guy I normally train, and they all agreed with you. Because we go to a lot of gyms, and even the gym I go to, I'm one of 7 people who can lift 315 or above. So they was like, this guy was 100% accurate. And I was like, you are right.
Yeah, that's a big point that angers a lot of people. I'll tell you. When you tell them that most people will never bench press 315 pounds, they don't like to hear that.
Seeing is believing, and believing is seeing, and it's very honest and accurate. But let's get into your past, because you've been lifting weights since 1985.
Actually, 1986. So you're close.
What brought you to your fitness journey?
I can't see anymore. Can you still see me? You there?
Can you see? Can you still hear us? Nope, can't hear you. Goddamn zone. These damn robots. These damn robots.
Yeah. I could.
I said,
now I can hear you.
Hold on. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. I just can't hear you.
We lost visual.
Well, now I can see.
Oh,
now I can't.
Okay. Oh, well, how about you put up with it? I guess we want them to see him or side by side. We don't try to do a side by side. How did you start your fitness journey? That's my first question.
I decided to go to a small college in New Mexico called New Mexico Tech, and I was from Wisconsin, and it's freezing up there, so I decided it would be a good idea for me to travel all the way across the country to the middle of nowhere to go to school, right? So I ended up not much to do. This school was really small, 800 students, and they specialized in petroleum engineering and a lot of math and science stuff. But long story short, there was only like 80 girls on campus, so there wasn't a lot to do other than lift weights. And they actually had a nice gym. So I kind of found myself down there one day, and the English professor was also a bodybuilder. And slowly but surely, I kind of, kept my eye on him, watched what he was doing, and he would give me these little gems of information that, just helped me immensely. So there was nothing else to do on campus, no alcohol, no women. So I just, I dove straight into the iron, never looked back.
Now, during those times, how hard was it to really build your body up with all the cool knowledge that we now have about how the human body performs?
Oh, man, for me it was easy. I mean, I all I did was try to beat what I did last time. I didn't have any information. I started out on bench press the first day. I had 95 for 3 reps, and that third rep nearly killed me. It got pinned in my chest, and I got kind of mad at how weak I was. So the next time I just try to get 4, and the next time I just try to get 5, and that's all I ever did. And honestly, I came home 2 years later. I didn't know what I looked like. I wasn't staring at myself in the mirror. And I came home 2 years later, and people in the gym were asking me, "What are you taking?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I taking?" I'm taking burritos and a lot of barbells. That's about it.
I'm still waiting on that day as someone accused me. I'm waiting on. That's when you know you arrived in the world of physical fitness, when someone say, "What the hell are you taking?" Now, my next question is,
You look pretty jacked from my side of the camera. So
that is the ultimate honor coming from you, because I watch all your videos all the time. I'm heavily invested into it. I've been diving, especially this week, I've been diving into it. And that is the ultimate honor to come from someone like you who's been doing this for a long time, to say you are looking jacked. Because it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of, some days I'll be like, man, it's not even worth it, but I keep on pushing. My wife say I got wrestler neck and I'm getting too big.
if your neck's big, that probably means you snore at night, and she pushes you at least a couple times.
I do snore a lot. I told her it probably coming from the wrestler neck. My next question is, what led you to coaching? You know what I mean? You've been doing it for a while. So what led you to coaching?
I never intended to really do coach. I always did a little bit of powerlifting coaching, from people. My daughter and myself, I got into powerlifting 2007 kind of by an accident. And it wasn't until like I got to my very strongest around age 45 or 46. I was 346 pounds. I was, close to, extremely strong levels. And it wasn't until I went through a body transformation that people really started paying attention to me. Like, this dude was big and strong, and now he's like leaned out and jacked, and everybody started messaging me, and magazines started reaching out, and people started asking for help. So it just kind of happened.
Hey, Steve, we're going to take a little short break, and we'll be right back in a few minutes. How about that?
Sounds good.
Hey, welcome back to Unpack Ray. I am your host, Norris Pope Johnson. I got with me the best co-host in the world, DC Baddest.
Yes.
DC Baddest, man. Sometimes life get in the way of life, and we have to move forward.
Absolutely.
And we have my guy, Steve Shaw.
Yes.
Let's bring this thing back up.
Get into it.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm so excited. I wish you were here, but I'm so super excited to meet you.
Where are you all at? I don't even know what city you're in. Sorry, the audio cut out. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? The audio cut out.
We're good. Now say what you was about to say.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you guys now.
Yes. I said I'm so super, super excited to meet with you, to speak with you this evening.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I asked where you guys from, and I didn't hear. I couldn't hear the answer. Sorry.
Originally from DC, but I'm currently staying in Maryland. But I'm from DC, Washington
Okay.
DC. That is.
DC itself for myself and Maryland. I have an interesting fitness journey we'll get into probably the second hour. I know DC got an interesting fitness journey. So yeah, we know how Facebook is. You connect with people all over the world. And now YouTube and everything else, you can connect with anybody.
Exactly.
Well, I was just asking what led you to the world of coaching?
It came down to like when I was at my strongest at 346 pounds. I was very unhealthy, and I was at a powerlifting meet. I was really prepared to do something spectacular that meet, and my body just broke down, and I couldn't figure it out. Everything from head to toe was cramping up. Like when you get a Charlie horse, everything from head to toe was just unbearable. It was an unbearable cramp. And I come to find out that I had fatty liver disease and from diabetes. And if I didn't correct it, I was probably a cheeseburger away from a heart attack or whatever. And I just started eating right. And I lost 100 pounds, made a transformation. I didn't intend to do it, but I came out the other side of the journey, and I went from this big, fat, strong guy to this big, jacked, ripped guy that kind of looked like a pro wrestler. And people started asking me how I did it. And magazines and news stories and all this kind of stuff started to appear, come out of nowhere. And people just started asking for help. So I just started helping them. And slowly but surely, it developed into a full-time coaching position. I'm working for myself right now, just helping other people do the same thing.
Wow.
So you have a question for
That is awesome. So when you very first spoke about the Charlie horses that you get, and I asked another fitness trainer this, and of course Norris. So I'm a new beginner in this thing, and I do have type 2 diabetes along with other ailments. I'm surviving currently stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So all of the medicines that they're giving me, they really take a toll on me, and I'm so totally burned out. However, I try to make sure that I get at least 30 minutes of workout in. But when I do that, like last night had to be one of the worst nights that I've had for Charlie horses. What can you do about Charlie horses? Those are the devil. I can't do the Charlie horses.
Yeah, they're when I was getting them, I was researching everything. I swear I was taking 20 supplements to try to help, and not a lot was working. The best thing you can do is kind of focus on electrolytes, and if that doesn't work, you really got to dig deep. And there are a few might help, but really water and electrolytes are your base. And after that, if that's not working, wow, I mean, you could try to reduce white sugar, white flour, and see if you in case you have any fat around your organs, internal fat, visceral fat. Reducing that stuff might help with inflammation and might help reduce some of that visceral fat, and that might help your liver a little bit. Process minerals a little bit better and deal with something like that. But it's not easy, that's for sure.
Because I've definitely been trying to make sure that my workout is just it's just strengthening. So everything, I'm weighing my weights on my legs. I'm doing very little. My trainer that I'm with is a young lady, and we're doing very little of everything. So because I'm starting from the beginning. But when I say last night, I tussled. I had to stand up. I was trying to walk. Either I pressed down really hard, and it kind of helped, or I had to just lay flat. So, I mean, my remedies may not be what anybody else's remedies are, but I just know that I'm not used to that pain. That pain would keep me away from exercising, and I don't want to do that. Like I said, my situation is different from a lot of people, but you have a lot of people in my situation that want to work out. They want to achieve the goals that you've achieved, but we feel like that it's our illness or ailment that is keeping us away from reaching those goals. So I don't know if you want us to push through the pain or what, because I was ready to give up last night. I was hurt.
No, I don't. If you're feeling pain, you got to kind of listen to your body. I mean, you got to enjoy what you're doing, and you don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to lose your motivation. You just kind of find that sweet spot of what you like to do and what you can do that's not going to leave you in such awful pain that you don't want to keep doing it. Sometimes just easing into it really, really, really slowly is the best thing you can do.
I'm going to make a promise, and I'll tell my children this time next year, I'm going to be in better condition and shape. So you're going to see some muscles instead of flaps on these arms. Okay, Mr. Shaw? I'm just letting you know.
Right.
I watched some of your stuff, and I was like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. So I'll be the female version of you on a lower scale, like way lower.
Let's make it happen. Do
it.
Oh my God, I love you. Yeah. Side note, she asked me to train her. I was like, to be honest, I don't have enough knowledge. I got to give my nephew who got degrees in this type of stuff, because I don't want to put you in a position where I hurt you.
Yeah.
And I'm man enough to know what my skill set is. Now, if you're on a high base, then I got you. If it's strength, I probably can get you there.
Right.
But like the build up from where you're coming from with the cancer and the build back up to a normal base, I was like, let me make sure that I'm doing the best thing for your well-being. And most people wouldn't do that.
Right. So what is your advice to people who are in my situation? What would your advice be to somebody who wants to, definitely maintain a positive lifestyle and a healthy lifestyle as far as their body? Because with this disease, it comes the detriment of your body, your muscle mass, and all of those things. So what would you suggest to someone in my condition?
Well, the first thing you want to look at is estrogen control. Like anybody that's had cancer or is dealing with cancer, they need to be very aware of the fact that every fat cell in the human body tends to store estrogen. I believe every fat cell stores estrogen. So it's very, very important for them, not just to lean out a little bit. We're not talking about getting ripped or anything, but to lean out and to avoid the things in our diet that tend to make us gain weight quickly or that cause inflammation. That there's two ways to control estrogen: a little bit of a fat loss, and then if we take care of our body with food and we reduce like the white sugars and the white flours and the processed foods and the fast food as much as possible, that will help our hormones regulate as well. I have a good friend who is a breast cancer surgeon, and she and I talk about this a lot, but estrogen and weight regulation are definitely something to take seriously for anybody that is worried about cancer or recovering from cancer.
That's good.
Thank you. Yeah, that is good.
That's some good info. Steve, my next question is your journey with Tiger Fit back in the day. How did that start and how did it end?
Man, it's like a dream. I tell you, when I was in college, I didn't want to go to class. I just wanted to lift weights. I was a kid, right? I got away from my parents, and no one was telling me what to do, and I just wanted to sleep in. And I was down in New Mexico. All I wanted to do was eat burritos and sleep in, and that's pretty much all they did when I was in college. But that kid never finished. That kid never got his degree. I never got my degree, and I spent 20 years working in blue collar jobs, just crappy jobs, stuff that wasn't fulfilling in life. And I got laid off from one of those jobs. I was a machinist. I got laid off from one of those jobs, I don't know, 2007. I started a website. I'm sitting around and they're paying me unemployment. So I'm like, I'm going to start a website called Muscle and Brawn. And all I did was just start writing about lifting, because that's all I knew. And I started writing about lifting. Eventually, a website called Muscle and Strength noticed me, and they asked me to come write for them. And then before you know it, within a year, I was their content editor full time. And I helped them grow from a small company into one of the biggest in the industry through just putting together good workouts and building relationships with people in their forum, because that's really what it's people. And man, I got to meet some amazing people at Muscle and Strength. Like the internet, you get to meet people from all over the world, and it opens doors like this door. And I did a reputation at Muscle and Strength for what I did. And one day I don't know if you want the long story or the short story, but I'm a veteran.
2 hours, brother. You got 2 hours of good content.
So I'm a veteran, right? And it was Veterans Day, and I'm sitting in South Carolina at Muscle and Strength, and one of these young little punk kids, I was leaning back in my chair looking at my computer because I'm old and don't have the best vision. And the kid takes me outside, my supervisor, and he says, I'm going to give you a verbal write-up for leaning too far back in your chair at your desk. And I'm like, what is this, like grade school? I'm a veteran. It's Veterans Day. I'm old. I'm leaning back in my chair. It was just silliness. So I said, it's time to move on from Muscle and Strength. So no hard feelings, but I approached Tiger Fitness, and they flew me in. They hired me on the spot, and it was a better fit. Let's put it that way.
What branch did you serve in?
I was in the U.S. Army. I got out in 1994.
Service.
Yes, thank you.
Service. Now, how was it in the Army? How much BS did you really have to take in the Army during those times?
Did you say you were in the Army?
No, I have a lot of buddies who served, and that, being honest, that's my only regret. I never served. I went directly to federal government security when I graduated from high school. So, I went directly to doing housing for a while. Then after housing, I did that for maybe 5 years, and I got with a little company called Coastal, and they do federal government buildings. I got my first federal government building, and I never looked back. So I've just been doing federal government security on a high level. I worked at DOD. I love everybody at DOD and have a lot of good friends at DOD.
Man, I got in the Army when it was a train wreck. I got in 1991, and all the equipment was old. I was in unit supply, so I was the guy giving weapons and pillowcases and everything to these soldiers. And the protective mask wouldn't seal, the guns wouldn't fire, and they were trying to encourage me to stay in and jump out of an airplane. I'm like, I'm not jumping out of an airplane if you can't even figure out how to get enough pillowcases for these soldiers. It was
air, huh?
It was not like
Was he racist?
I think we froze again. This damn technology, boy. I'm gonna talk.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Well, now you went away again. Let me know when I'm back.
I think you're back now. I said you was thinking about becoming airborne, huh? For a brief second,
Well,
you found.
They were trying to encourage everybody to stay in. If you stay in and go airborne special forces, we'll advance you quickly. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good with not jumping out of an airplane.
So have you ever had to jump out of an airplane?
Nah, forget that. I mean, that's not there are many things in life I do and wouldn't do, and that's definitely something I'm not interested in.
All right.
DC, you have a question for Steve?
I do have a question for you. How much of your family is involved with you, as far as your children and your wife and family and friends, do they, incorporate themselves in your workout, your routine?
My daughter was a power lifter. She used to come down the basement with me when I was lifting, and she actually got really strong and competed in some of the biggest meets in the world on a big stage. And she
She
got to
got
the
to the
point
point.
where,
What was she? She was like wrestling.
No, powerlifting.
Doing the bar bench
Like
thing.
normally deadlift, bench press, squat. Yeah, on a
That's so
high
hard.
level. Like
Oh
high level.
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
never told her what numbers she was doing, but she got so strong on the deadlift that TLC, the network TLC, wanted to do approached us about doing a TV show called World's Strongest Teen. That never panned out, but my daughter was always big into that. Now she's got kids on her own of her own, and they do different stuff. They do yoga and all their little things. But they're very active, and I'm proud of them. And me and my wife now are into running. We got a gym right next to my office here, and we lift here, but we're kind of doing running now. So me and my wife spend a lot of time hiding in the woods.
That's what's up.
Yeah, you'll be surprised.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 3 years.
How many?
Three?
3? Oh, really? 3 years? Okay.
Well, it's a long story to that one too. He's actually remarried.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've checked. I've been dipping in his videos.
He's been looking up on you.
Yeah, you got to.
So,
I got all kinds of deep stories if you want them. We're just say when.
we got nothing but time. We got nothing but time before we start.
yes, we want to let them know. We want to introduce you because a lot of people don't know anything about you. Before my host, said anything about you, I didn't know anything about you. So I had to look you up myself. So what I found out was you were a heavy guy at one point in time, and you found out that you were tired of being that way, and it actually was a situation that scared you into being the person that you are today. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I was basically, the more I ate, the stronger I got, and it's kind of an addictive power. You can continue to eat and continue to get stronger, and you feel invincible. Like I was to the point where I was going to reach a level in powerlifting only 80 people have ever done in my sport. That's kind of the all-star level or the Hall of Fame level. And when you're getting to the point in a sport where you're getting up there with the best ever, you don't think about your health. You think about that goal line, right? You think about, man, the more I eat, the stronger I get. I'm just going to continue to eat. But I nearly ate myself to death, literally. From it just turned it went downhill really, really quickly, and I was in Pizza Hut a week before my powerlifting meet with my daughters, and a Pizza Hut, of course, right? And I went to stand up to pay the bill, and I couldn't stand up because I had Charlie horses in every muscle of my body from head to toe. I couldn't move an inch. I couldn't move anything because I would get Charlie horses in my chest, my abdominals, my neck, literally everything. And I had promised my daughters that day we were going to go see a movie. So it took me 15 minutes to get to the car, and the cramps continued. And at the movie theater, I couldn't get out of the seat. We nearly had to call 911. And it was at that point where I learned my fatty liver disease was so bad that if I didn't take action, my heart was likely to cramp anytime, real soon. And, when that happens, that's called a heart attack, and you're lucky if you're alive after that.
Yes,
That was my wake up.
wow.
Jeez Louise. Steve, my next question is, what was your numbers on everything when you was on that level?
When I was at my strongest, my squat was close to 700. My deadlift was closing in on 800, and my bench was 430, 440.
Woo! Those are some numbers. I'm never gonna get the deadlift, and I'm never gonna get the squat because I don't do legs. We'll get into that later. But I might be able to see you on that one. But everything else, no, those are hopes and dreams I never wish to achieve.
Well, I don't wish to achieve them either. I'm stay all the way down low. I'll be in the hundreds in the single numbers.
That's respectable for a young lady on the go.
But I'm trying. The thing is, I'm getting there. I just want muscles. I want my muscle back.
Know what Bill's character?
What's that?
You started. You said it was painful.
It is,
but you
painful.
Willing to go back.
I'm going through it. I'm getting through it. My
next question, Steve, is what does it feel like to you to motivate so many people across the world to the point you reached out to me all the way in Washington, D.C. from where you at in Ohio? So how does that feel to you to be able to reach so many people and to give back to the community?
Well, it's extremely humbling because like 13 years ago, I was just some fat knucklehead sitting in the middle of nowhere doing nothing with my life. You know, I'd never finished college. I never did anything with my life. I was depressed. I was overweight. Really nothing in my mind to live for other than my daughters. And, to wake up one and just like when I wake up each day, I have messages in my inbox and from YouTube and my email and all kinds of social media and 700-pound guys and 500-pound guys. And, people that aren't worried about getting ripped, they're just worried about saving their life. Right. And that's a huge blessing, that I take seriously. I sit at this desk right here 7 days a week communicating with these people. And long before I did it as a business, I was doing it for free. I was just on the forums because there's enough in life of people just helping people for no reason other than to be a good person. And I really believe in that. And I take it seriously, when somebody approaches me, because somewhere there's a life out there that's asking for help. And if they ask it from you, you can't judge them. You can't analyze them. You can't try to figure out their situation, but you just need to try to take it seriously and help them to the best you can. And it's humbling, but man, I'm grateful that I get to do this for a living above everything else.
Brother, you said a mouthful because
that's excellent.
Lately my journey has been what you said, that's training people for free. And it's not because I just want to do it just to see if I can change someone's body into a beast. And then it's just ultimately humbling when you see someone you train reach their goal. Like the guy I trained now, DJ Smoke, I believe we started off at a baseline of 225. And currently he's bitching like 270, and to see the progression that he made is just ultimately humbling to me to see him go from that to where he wants to go, and he has other goals in mind, and it's just really special to reach back and give that to someone.
Right. That's true.
Exercise. You're building like mental strength, and that mental strength carries over in other areas of your life. It just, for me, it just has carried over everywhere. And it's nice to see other people see that, take seed in their life and grow in their life as well.
See?
So as large as you are in this muscle mass thing, because I saw some of your pictures, you look like a transformer, like Norris. Like you look like a transformer, like you can break down different parts of your body. Have you ever thought about entering into like the WWF or anything like that, to just like, I don't know, you just have that thing. You have that it factor to me. Have you ever thought about doing it?
Well, I appreciate that. It's funny you mentioned wrestling because a couple things. Like I find it funny now that I've changed. Like people will stop me on the street and say, you kind of look like Steve Austin, or you kind of look like Triple H. And I'm like, they always tell me a different wrestler though. But I actually wrestled a little bit in 1999 in the RWA, which was a feeder organization for the WWE. And that was in Chicago and Indiana and Wisconsin. We were down in Chicago, um, more in inner city Chicago. And I don't know if you all remember King Kong Bundy. Are you that old to remember King
Yes,
Kong
Yeah,
Bundy?
remember him.
yes, we grew up on him.
Yes.
Well, I was a tri-state heavyweight champion. I was supposed to lose my belt to King Kong Bundy. That was my last match. So I did about a year of professional wrestling.
Okay.
Wow.
So did you like it?
No, because like in the WWE, they're professionals, but a lot of the other guys that aren't in the they're not professionals. They'll be leg dropping you right on your Adam's apple, and they'll tear you up. They're not as skilled and precise, and you can get your butt kicked, literally.
Okay, that's what's up. Now that is amazing. Great
Yeah.
question because I
Thank
didn't
you.
know that.
Thank you.
Now, Steve, for those who are dealing with depression, can you go a little bit further into what caused your depression? How did you figure it out for that person who may be suffering at home from depression?
Yeah, you bet. If I got a lot of stories to tell here, and I hope anybody listening can connect with some of them. My dad was in Vietnam, and he did 2 tours over there, and he came back a pretty bad alcoholic. He was a violent alcoholic. My dad was 6'4", like 300 pounds. I didn't get any of his height, but I got all of his strength, I think. And my dad was very violent. And I just had a childhood, filled with violence. The neighborhood I was in was very violent. My best friend, when he was 15, he was executed by his alcoholic stepfather. He was just taken out to the local park and murdered. And the people around me, my friends, they ended up in prison. It was just a really bad neighborhood, and we were pretty poor. I didn't have anybody in life growing up to tell me how to change a spark plug or balance a checkbook. I was just a kid that entered the world having no clue about anything. And when you're in that kind of a handicap, when your parents don't equip you for success at all, it kind of, you have no confidence. I had no confidence with girls. I had no confidence with anything. And, so I was kind of in that hole to start, not getting into self-pity, but that's kind of the hole I was in. And eventually, I was always depressed because of that childhood. And eventually, I met a woman when I was in the military, and she ended up cheating on me. I don't know, dozens of times. It was just a serial cheater type of scenario, and that took me down the rungs a little bit lower. And from there, I ended up marrying a woman who was very, very stable. And but the thing was, she was very stable, but uh, she was asexual, and this isn't anything anybody ever talks about. But asexualism, like 1% of the population is asexual. They do not have, they do not care for affection. They do not really care for intimacy. And a lot of people say, why do you marry a woman like that? Why do you marry a woman that doesn't even like to hold your hand or kiss or whatever? And because I married her because I liked that stability. It was the first time I had stability in my life. But I spent 17 years in a relationship, and I'm not putting this woman down because she is what she is. She's a good person. But uh, when you're 17 years with somebody and they have no interest in you, even looking at you, touching you, anything, it completely destroys your confidence. And I slowly started to binge eat more and more and more without even realizing. You wake up one day and you're like, my life is completely out of control, and where have I look at me now. And I started to grow a big beard. I would hide in these big baggy clothes. Like forever since, any woman ever looked at me. It was just, it was just a wreck. And the only thing that kept me going was my daughters. Because my dad was such a horrible father. I'm like, I am just going to keep this together for my daughters. And that's probably the only thing that held me together.
Wow, that is so amazing. Your resilience and your strength. So how do your children view you? By the way, how many children do you have?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, you 2 girls. How is that as a dad and your position? Because, they see you as Superman, right?
Yeah, they do see me as Superman. Somehow I turned into Superman.
So is that awesome enough for them are they comfortable with coming to you, talking to you about girl stuff, or do they leave that for mom?
They do. I mean, my daughters, I always tried to be for them what my dad wasn't for me. My dad didn't. My dad never told me he loved me, never remembered my birthday, all that kind of stuff, right? So every day with my daughters, I tried to equip them for success. I would spend time with them. I would play games with them. I would tell them I love them. I'd teach them good habits, right? How to study, how to respect people. And my daughters are really good people, and they see me through my actions, and they are learning to respect the things I taught them. And they're growing into wonderful women. Like my older daughter, for example, she became part of the Gay Lesbian Alliance, where she would stand up in school and high school for the Gay Lesbian Alliance, and that takes a lot of courage when you're not part of that group. But she would stand with them, just out of love and unity and support. So I'm real proud of my daughters, and they talk to me about things. They know one thing's for sure: when they're in trouble, they know who's going to come kick through the door and save them.
Right. That's a beautiful thing to be able to know that you have a dad that is like that. Like, that's so super cool. Yes, absolutely.
That is awesome. Well, Steve, we have a tradition here when we read a letter from a fan. And sometimes the letters get a little messy, but hey, this is real life, and this is a real life letter. Are you ready to help us out with our letter today, Steve?
Let it rip.
Thank God for good content, and my nephew, shout out to Devontae, best YouTube editor in the world. And I'm going to have to remember what he told me because I deleted the message. But I remember what I read yesterday because I got to still track. So he received a text message from his buddy. The text message stated, "My dude, I'm out with my girl and her friend from out of town. We all go out for dinner. I pay for my girl half, I pay for my half of dinner. Her girlfriend from out of town, card gets declined. She says, maybe because I'm out of town, my card gets declined." He's like, "You better call Chase and figure out what you got to do to pay your bill because I ain't got $131 to be paying for nobody at this moment in my life." His girlfriend stated, "You are being cheap and embarrassing me in front of my homegirl because you don't want to pay that bill." Now, before we get to your answer, Steve, and my answer, DC Baddest, you're a woman. What do you got to say about these shenanigans?
I'm different from those women. I pay for my own regardless. And in the event that I do sit at the table and somebody is short, and to avoid all of that, we'll take care of that later. I'll pay for it. I don't have a problem. I like less drama. That's it.
Steve,
I don't deal with the drama.
what is your answer, sir?
Yeah, man, I really don't want drama. I would take the financial hit and sort out the body count later. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I know that's right.
Well,
Body slam them down.
my answer was And this is a true statement. I said somebody gonna be giving up something on the ride home. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
if I'm coming out my pocket for $131 and you knew you was coming from out of town, it's been a long time going that when you going out of town, you call your bank like, hey, I'm going to Dallas. I need a little bit of funds. Get me through. So I was like, somebody gonna have to have some explaining to do that night, Lucy. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for tuning in to our. Hey, feel free to write even more letters because there's always good content. What you about to say, Steve?
I get back to the home that day and I would make sure she was deleted and blocked from everybody's life. Everybody I know.
Hey, Steve, this is the point where I'm about to pee people off. Before I pee people off, I'm gonna give them a little clue to my own journey before I make people mad about some of the beliefs about fitness. A long time ago, I wanted to be a police officer, but at that point, I was a little. I think I was skinny at that point, or maybe I was fat. One way or another, I wanted to be a PG cop. So I ended this journey of being a PG cop. You got to pass a physical. The physical for a PG cop, you must do 50 push-ups in a certain amount of time. You must do 50 sit-ups in a certain amount of time. And you must run a mile and a half. At my age bracket, it was 12 minutes. And at this point in my life, I'm completely out of shape. So I started my journey of fitness. My buddy, Osama Abdul, took me to Fitness for Less. And he showed me a few things. And that first day, I had to soak in the bath and get my whole life together because I was hurting. But I went back. I met a guy. His name is Carl. He's 64 years old, and he is a freaking animal. And he showed me everything I know about fitness. 64 years old and is freaking jacked out of his mind. And he showed me everything I needed to know about fitness, and he got my life together for me. And then sometimes I have fell off in my fitness journey. I've taken years off where I took a year off because I was out of work and broke and depressed, sitting in the house being mean to my wife and mean to my family because I ain't had no money coming in. And I got up to 250 pounds, lost that, got back to work, lost another job, fell back into depression, started eating, started drinking, got back up to another 250 pounds. And then I lost that one and I'm maintaining. So the trick is, how do you maintain through all the BS?
How do you maintain through all the BS, man? I don't know. I've come and gone over the years. I've had some periods myself where I was away from it, but I think it's like a love. I mean, I love being active, and for me, all I can do is speak up for me. I love the power. Like, we don't have power over many things in life, right? But we have the power over what we can do, what we can get up and choose to do, and nobody can stop us. If I'm going to go lift some weights, I'm going to go lift some weights. Nobody's going to stop us. If I want to go run, if I want to go walk, if I want to do thing is, no one can stop you, and no one can stop you from changing, right? No one can stop you from dramatically changing yourself physically and mentally. Nobody can stop you. That's power. And I've always come back because I love that power. When I was a kid, my dad, was what he was, and I didn't have the power. He had the power, right? And when I was in poverty as a child, I didn't have the power. I didn't have the power. And it's just one of the few things in life that you have the power to just take control. So for me, all I know is I keep coming back to it because it's the only thing that feels like my safe place. It's like no matter what's going on in the world, like 2020 is a big hot mess, but whatever's going on in the world, I can still improve myself. And, there are people that wake up every day that don't get to feel that power. And I try to help them connect with that power, but I don't know, honestly, what you do, how you get back to it if you've never felt that to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think that does make sense because I think the reason I come back to it because I love it. You know what I mean? I love when you see, personally for myself, I done had several transformations in my life with my body. But I love what you can do with the human body if you truly wanted to. If someone says to you, you're never going to get to a certain level, like our age bracket, they always say you're never going to be able to lift heavy because your T cells go down. I like that the fact that 42 years old, I'm still getting in there and I'm showing that you can do anything when you put your mindset to it. And I like the fact that just me doing what I do with my body, I inspire others to greatness. Like I got coworkers now coming to the gym. I got coworkers talking about the gym at work. And I always ask them, do you want to be a man or do you want to be a Superman? Me personally, I want to be a Superman. So I'm just like, I love the aspects of fitness and how it connects you to everybody. Like Coach Dirk, who I met through Kevin, who I met on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. So the brotherhood and the sisterhood of fitness, it's amazing. And it's a small niche group, but once you in and you feel like you don't want to ever go back to where you were at. And I want to get to that point where I know for me, I want to be a beast. Do you see?
I'm not that into it. However, I have a what do you call it? A membership at a gym that I've only gone twice because it's in there mentally, but for me physically because it's painful. I can do it the first day, but the second day. Now listen, I tried boxing, I tried tennis, and this is the thing. I was a scholar at track. So I got scholarships to track. I went to Boston University, stayed there only for a year and a half because it was so much racism going on back then. I kind of dropped out. But I still have that, my stamina is there. I'm just kind of lazy and kind of scared that I will overexert myself because once I get into something, I'm an extremist. I just go full throttle. So my question, and maybe it's not a question, it's a statement, for myself and people like myself, especially young guys, how would you persuade them that this could be, because it is a healthy route, because this is something that's positive, this could turn out to be something that, could be a lifesaver, one, and then two, something that you could be a Steve Shaw at. Because once they put their hands to it, they never know how far they'll carry things. That's like myself. I didn't know that I could do so many things with my hands, but now I have my own business doing it. I'm doing a great job. So if I introduce my son to this, which I really honestly think that he'll like, and then I have a 10-year-old that will love it, yeah, tell me, like, what would I do? How would I encourage them? What would be the motivation?
Oh, that's a good question. It's like freedom, um, opening doors in life, changing lives. Like I don't just like the way I live with the gym and exercises, the way I live with everything. Like uh, the best way I like to describe physical fitness is like physical freedom. It gives you freedom to do things, right? Just like money can give you financial freedom. And I work hard and I play hard. I like to go attack life, and I just I, you know it just opens so many doors rather than closes doors. It can open relationship doors. You're around more positive people. You're around more motivated people. Not just not just physical fitness, but like when you're around people that are doing things, that are going for things, it opens your mind to new things and new possibilities. You can see somebody else doing it, and now, hey, I can do that. And that's in the gym, and that's in starting a business, and that's in all things in life. So I just like I just like getting people to see that there are possibilities out there that they are true. like there's a version, there's always a new version of themselves waiting around the corner. And all they got to do is take a step every day. I'm not sure if that answered your question at all, and probably not.
No, it did in so many ways. I just wanted to know, what would you do to, if my son approached you, he's 17 and then I have a 10-year-old, what would you do to motivate them to change, change their focus to something positive, as such as weightlifting or strength and training, and, to let them know how important their health is, because moms can do but so much, and my husband is deceased, so I don't have that male figure in their life. So if someone like you would actually speak to them, I do honestly believe that they would try to trail you and follow what you're about and try to do and mimic these things.
Well, that's the key. Like whoever their role models are, whatever they like, even if it's video games or football or whatever it is, getting them to connect with how that person got there, how hard that person works, to get them to see that person's human. That's a big part of it. We can see somebody on a screen or we can see somebody in a picture on Instagram, seeing their best self, but when you get to connect with the real side of people, like the real side, getting them to, I would encourage them to explore the person they look up to and to see how that person got there. Like Dwayne Johnson, I think he got kicked out of the CFL or was a crappy football player. And, he worked hard to get to where he wants. Sometimes just seeing what your role models or your heroes did to get to where they want to go kind of motivates you to take the same steps, or maybe even to step out and to try something new. Because role models are so important. Like one of the things I've learned is I didn't get into this to be a role model. But whether you want to be a role model or you don't want to be a role model, you are, because everybody's watching all the time. Everybody is watching all the time, everything you do. And if you go out and do something spectacular, me, you, or anybody, somebody's watching. It's going to motivate them to take a step in life that they've never taken before. And I didn't come into this to motivate people, but when I realized like my change has motivated people, it's you see that power, and sometimes I just want to tell other people, like, if you make this change, you're gonna empower other people to want to do the same thing. You have that same power to change lives, just by the changes you make. So, for the young men, young women that kind of don't have direction in life, I would encourage them to just dive into their role models a little bit and read a book on their biography, their story, or learn something about them, or somebody in history that did something great that they look up to, and find the human side of that person and what they went through to get to where they are.
Awesome. That was a good answer.
That is a very good answer. Yeah. And DC, personally, if you trust me, if you trust your boy, you can bring your 17-year-old to me now because he can legally go to the gym, and I will be happy to train him.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh,
and I'll now let him know. You only got two choices. You could be a man or you could be a Superman. Okay. And we want to be Superman. All right. But if he's willing, if you trust me, I got you.
That's what's up. I appreciate that.
Maybe
as long as I always gotta go through the first lady.
You gotta go to the first lady. The first lady, yes, all access pass. Yes, but if he willing to go through the pains, and if he willing to see how he can transform his body, I'm willing to do it.
Okay.
And all is free.
Okay.
Does he like any of the movies like Rocky or anything like that? Any of those?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. We actually, Christmas Eve, that's what we did. We watched them 1 through 5, I think. We watched all of them. And then we did Creed and Creed 2. So, I mean, they love it. And actually, my 10-year-old wants to box now. So, he wants to box. But the older one, PJ, he's getting ready to graduate. You know how y'all get when y'all get ready to graduate. You kind of shy away from the mom. Don't tell, that you don't tell everything. You might give me a little bit, but he doesn't tell me everything. But we bought this bar thing, like you weightlift, you pull yourself up on it. He has put 2 holes in my wall.
Oh.
But he likes to lift on that.
Oh, he bought the iron gym pull-up bar.
And I bought some weights that he can do. Like he pushes himself up off the floor.
Oh.
And I have the bean bags that go around his legs. And he's trying. But like when I told him tonight I was coming to see Steve Shaw, he thought I was coming. You were live on the show, but I was like, he is live. He's just not there. He was like, do you know who he is? I said, well, Mr. Norris told me a little bit about him, so I read up on you a little bit before. And he was like, oh, he's awesome. A mom. Like, I'm going to go. I said, it's not for you tonight. So he's interested. He's definitely interested. The sparks are there. I just got to find him.
If he ever wants to talk to me, I'd be glad to talk to him, but if you like, I'd tell him, hey, tomorrow when you wake up, that's the start of your Rocky movie. You're tired. It's 5 a.m. All you got is eggs to drink. So get up, get up, and that's the start of your movie.
So funny that you said that, because he tried to do the eggs one Sunday and he threw up all over the place. Like, Mom, oh my gosh! I said you should have waited for me. I would have showed you how to do it.
You gotta know what you're doing.
Technique to that. You can't just swallow something like that. There's a technique to that. But yeah, that's awesome, and thank you so much for that invitation. I'm definitely going to take you up on that.
Right ahead, anytime.
Yes, indeedy. So who? Out of the question, this is crazy, but who do you have for the Super Bowl? Who do you have winning?
Do we really need to go there?
I haven't watched football in 4 years, so I can care too.
I mean, Tom Brady is the GOAT, but do you ever think that he can be taken down?
As long as they let him inflate a ball or two, he'll be okay.
Well, I am from Wisconsin. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, right? I'm from here where all the the hunters and fishermen are, and all those backwoods serial killers and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm a Packers fan, and to watch Brady beat the Packers, I don't know. I'd rather see Brady beat the Chiefs. I don't really care about the Chiefs all too much. So I'd kind of like to see Brady win. I don't know about you.
I don't care.
He said he don't care.
I'm so done with football. I'm good. My next question, before we pee everybody off with the fitness questions, I noticed on your videos you always wearing like some type of comic book shirt. So are you as much a nerd as I am when it comes down to the comic book world?
I'm so much of a nerd. When I was in high school, the things I liked, the music and the comic book stuff and all that kind of, like the fantasy novels and stuff, everybody hated it. Video games, everybody hated it. They thought I was the stupidest person in the world, right? He likes video games and comic books and like Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff. And they were all the cool kids. So I was kind of the nerd, right? I was always the nerd. And now everybody likes everything that I used to like. So I'm just kind of normal. But yeah, absolutely. When I was a kid, man, that's all I had was those stories in the comic books of the kids that were, like Spider-Man had nothing. They were just average people. And I was just a kid sitting at home in the middle of nowhere, dreaming that I could do something with my life. And just comic books, they changed me, because here you had these big muscular people and they were just like average people, and then they put on this costume and go save the world. And I kind of like that whole theme. So
you see,
I did like that. So, okay, getting back on track to this health thing, what is your typical day look like as far as your meals are concerned, from breakfast, lunch to dinner? Like when you get up in the morning, at lunch, at dinner, do you snack at night? How is your regimen for your health as far as eating?
Good question. I mean, when it comes to maintaining health, you need a routine. I think when it comes to maintaining not just physical health, but mental health, you need a routine. Like that's why 2,000 many people, because it's thrown them off their routine, right? You can't go where you want to go. You can't be where you want to be. You got to always analyze, do I need a mask? Do I need to walk, do this, that, and the other thing? So like for me, routine is important, or to have a structure. So I eat this, I get up. Sleep is a key. Sleep is a big key. And so many people don't take care of their sleep hygiene. When I go to bed at night, I make sure that the alarm clock is set at least 8.5 hours forward of when I go to bed. So I have a good chance of getting a good night's sleep every single night. No excuses. So I start the day on that note. I eat the same thing for breakfast, and I eat at the same times for lunch. When my work day is over, I usually go run an hour, 2 hours, or I hit the gym. And after that, we go cook during the week. We cook a meal together, me and my wife. That's kind of our detox time, where we chase around our dogs and just reconnect with each other. And so it's very much routine. I we make sure that we know what we're eating each day, so there's no room for trouble. And it's not like we don't have fun, because one thing that I teach people is, like, I live like a monk, like a saint during the week, right? Really strict, really regimented. And on the weekends, I let go a little bit. So I might have a little bit of pizza, a little bit of beer, whatever, balance there. The problem is, like, when people unbalance it and there's no structure in their life during the week. So what do you want for lunch? What do you want for dinner? They're drinking 5 days a week. Um, they don't have any structure for their meals. That's where things kind of get out of control. So for me, as somebody that nearly died from obesity, I find that comfort in the same structure every single day. Does that make sense?
We absolutely. So basically, we need to make sure that we have a routine and have a structured um, settlement, so it goes a lot smoother. So I like to do something called preparing. What did my son? My son called it something else today.
Meal prep.
Meal
There you
prepping,
go.
yes, for the week. So they hate that, but we will do it on Sunday nights for the rest of the week, because if I don't have a doctor's appointment and they have virtual learning and I'm teaching in school because I'm a teacher, so we're constantly going back and forth. Mommy don't have as much time as I used to have. However, I do cook a big dinner every Sunday. So, they get that home cooked meal, mommy's in the kitchen cooking, but I still want them to maintain a healthy balance. They like eating those dollar store tray menus, which I can't stand. They have so much sodium, so many calories, and if you're just laying around, it's just going to accumulate. And then what happens? You're unhappy with the way you look after a month or so. So we changed that into meal prepping. So I'll go to the store, and the crazy part about eating healthy now is it is expensive. You have to pay for it.
Definitely get expensive. I tell you, like, when it comes to structure, and like human psychology, structure is so important. I mean, if you look at, like, kids, if a kid grows up in a world that's chaotic, where they don't have money coming in, or they don't have constant food, or their parents have erratic behavior, there's not a consistent structure, that kid's going to grow up a little bit less than they could be, right? They're gonna be kind of in a hole. Um, and the more stability and structure you have as a base, for the kids, the better the platform is for them to flourish or grow. And the same thing is true for us as adults. If we don't have a structure or a basic platform in life to just plant our life on, and to grow, it can be really erratic and chaotic, and we can lose control. So I believe, like, a structure in life is so important. You don't have to be a saint, but you do need to have a plan, right? And you just need to follow the plan. It's like, just real quick, you have there's 3 steps. first you plan. Okay, that's like tomorrow I'm going to do something, right? Then you prepare because now you got the plan. Now you have to prepare. That's where you do the work. Like Sunday, I'm going to meal prep. So that's your plan. Then you prepare. Then you actually do the preparation on Sunday, and then you have the execution. Now you got the meals in the freezer. Now you got to actually eat them, right? So plan, prepare, and execute.
All right. Now we about to piss people off before I get to these general questions because people from Kevin Group, my wife, everybody got a few general questions, but we're going to piss a few people off with my next conversation.
What's that?
Now, this is how I ran across Steve. It was my journey of wanting to bench press 315. I ran into Mr. Steve video. Mr. Steve said, you'll never lift 315 in your life. I was like, and I listened, and then he made some key factors and some great points. And all these things I do in my personal journey of weightlifting. He was like, you don't work the bicep. I was like, we do bicep curls. He was like, you don't do chest press. I was like, wait a minute. Me and DJ Smoke be in there chest pressing. And then he said, you don't work the tricep. I was like, well, tricep extension. We doing everything. I left my 315, but he was right. Most people in their lifetime, my nephew could confirm he done played basketball all over the world. He said, Unc, the man is right. I ain't never seen nobody lift 315. The guy I train, he's like, Norris, we go to goals. It's you and 7 other people who can lift 315 or above. So Steve Shaw, why do you believe that people could never reach the gauntlet of the 3 plates or above, and why is it so true? And then why are some people able to prove it wrong?
Consistency, man. I mean, I've been in this game a long time, and it's easy to run hard for 1 week or 1 month or even 1 year, but it's harder to run hard for 5 or 10 years. And consistency is the game in really anything in life. If you want to know why I've been successful at anything I do, because I get up every day and I put a step forward. So the biggest reason why I know most people never get 315 is just because they won't remain consistent. They just, that's a big key to everything. They just will not remain consistent. And the second thing is they think they're consistent, but something comes up, they got to take a week off, a month off from the gym, a year off from the gym or whatever. It's just life, right? And the second thing is, like, when a weight starts to feel heavy for someone, they think they can't move the next heaviest weight, and that's a lie, right? That's a lie. The next step, like in life, not just in the weight room, but in life, you might get to a level that's really hard because you pushed yourself, and you think, I just pushed myself super hard, whatever it is in life, in the gym or whatever. I just pushed myself hard. I need a break. I can't possibly push myself hard to the next level, right? And that's where people fall down. Like they've just been through something hard, so they want to stop or take a break. And that's not how you're successful. Like if you're Michael Jordan, if you get your free throw percentage up to 70% and it took you, 3 years of shooting hoops, before practice, you could be like, that was hard, right? That was hard. No, you got to take the next step. You got to continue pushing forward. It's not easy, and that's where most people fail.
All right, Steve, my next question is a general question from Kevin Group. Somebody's thinking about coming to one of your training sessions. I'm pretty sure it's going to be online. They want to know, what hell are you going to put them through?
I'm going to put you through the hell that I put myself through, and probably only 50% of it. That's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. So it's going to feel like you're going through hell, but it's only 50% of what I go through, so I'm going easy on you.
Yeah, I always tell people I'm never going to ask you to do something I'm unwilling to do myself. So I'm never going to ask you to lift something that I'm not willing to do. I'm never going to put you through something that I'm not willing to suffer with you.
When I post something on social media about lifting or life or whatever, motivation, most of the time I'm talking to myself, right? And I never ask anything of anybody that I don't ask. Usually what I'm asking of folks is a lot less of what I'm asking of myself. Because I believe if a big dumb knucklehead like myself can accomplish something, you can at least accomplish 50% of it.
All right, my next question for my guy DJ Smoke. He's suffering from a shoulder injury. Every time he lifts heavy, what would be your advice to him? Because he did tried the tape, he did tried the little brace, and I think he's talking about buying the slingshot to kind of help him out. What would be your advice for a guy like him who keep on suffering from a shoulder injury?
If he likes lifting, I would definitely have him get the slingshot. That'll provide support. He probably shouldn't lift super heavy for a while, like above 82.5% of his 1 rep max, but he should probably do a little bit of volume and do it with the slingshot. Just take it slow and easy. Let the strength come to him. Let that thing heal up a little bit. You can't rush an injury. No matter how much you want to rush an injury, you can't rush an injury. So slow and steady, and definitely use that support of that slingshot. That thing will be a real benefit when dealing with shoulder injuries. Even if he never recovers completely from that shoulder injury, that bench press slingshot will allow him to maybe do something he couldn't do without it.
No. What has been your greatest accomplishments as far as if you are training females and males? What is the better result? Do females normally tend to, come out on the better end versus the guys?
I'm gonna get myself in trouble here. Well, I think women work better with women coaches in general, right? Some of my it really depends on the individual. I have a you know the video game Monster Hunter or Monster Hunters.
I've heard of it.
Maybe no.
Don't play it.
But one of my clients is in Singapore as a video game designer for that video game, and she came to me like a raw canvas, and she is just like a beast. Like in less than a year, she's just made amazing progress, and it really is down to the individual. Like when somebody comes to you, you can tell whether they have it, right? Or whether they just want it. And you can't fake it, right? You have it or you want it, but you can't fake it. So it doesn't really depend. It's not up to the sex of the person. It's really just how much they're going to dig in and go after it.
They're willing to participate, basically. Indulge.
Right.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Best team ever. My next question, Steve, at home question. My wife recently started her no soda journey, and she's dealing with a caffeine issue and a lack of caffeine. What would you recommend? Because I think she said one day she almost passed out because she couldn't get to her drugs, which is caffeine. So what would you recommend for someone who's trying to get away from the caffeine?
Oh, so she's trying to get away from the caffeine. Some people are hypersensitive to caffeine. So when they come off of it, they're going to get really bad headaches or they're going to get really sluggish or irritable. The best thing to do when you're coming off of caffeine or soda is to kind of cut it down daily. What I used to do when I would come off it is I would cut down 50% a day. So let's say you're having 4 Diet Cokes, cut it down to 2. And that could be daily or every other day or whatever. Then cut it down to 1, then a half, then a quarter. You got to kind of slow down on it a little bit to make sure you don't get the headaches if you're one of those type of people. And you also need to get really good sleep. I mean, you'll start to feel better once you're off caffeine when you wake up in the morning if you're a heavy caffeine drinker. But sleep, a regular sleep pattern is going to be really beneficial for anybody that gets off caffeine, because if you're very erratic with your sleep and you're staying up late and doing all kinds of crazy shenanigans, and then you're going to wake up on 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep, your brain's just going to be like, give me coffee, give me soda.
So her mistake was just coming off completely.
Some people get off completely. Like it depends on how hard the headaches are. If you're one of those people that can just quit, by all means. For most people, changing a habit is changing your lifestyle, and sometimes it's easier to back off or make small changes than it is just to go cold turkey. But it's really up to the individual. Again, if you're getting really bad headaches when you get off caffeine, you probably want to slowly ease down on it.
My next question is a two-parter. My first question is a personal question for myself. Do you think I should stop being soft and actually do squats and deadlift? Because everybody be teasing me about my legs. And what would you recommend on my journey to get to 405 before? My family called me a teeter tart. DC Baddest. They said, "Onk, you don't do legs. You all chest and arms. You don't do no legs, Onk."
So your legs look bad.
They say I got in the fitness game. I got chicken legs is what they would call it. So, what would you recommend for as far as me doing squats and deadlifts, which I really refuse to do, and what would you recommend as far as my journey to 405?
Well, you don't need to do that.
I want to bench press 405 pounds by July 22nd. It's coming. Facebook. I'm going to post it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You don't need to squat or deadlift, but you got to do some leg work. Let's be real here, because you even in the dark, you can't hide those chicken legs, right? So you can hide those things, but like in the dark, when and your lady puts her hand on those chicken legs. That's like a.
Oh my God!
But the bench press, you got to kind of approach a bench press in two ways. You got to have an off season where you're building up your base and building up your weaknesses, and then you have to have a peak. And the peak can be 8 to 10 to 12 weeks. And they're peaking programs I put together for my clients. But basically, you lift heavier and heavier and heavier over the course of a peak while you're reducing your assistance exercise volume, so you can come in strong, but you can come in. If you want to bench 405 by July, you got to set a program where you're doing an off-season program. And then you're going to come in on 8 weeks and you're going to do a peak like a power lifter, so you can get the most strength out of it you can. And in that off season, you're probably going to have to do some volume work that you aren't normally accustomed to. Bench press, you got to get some dumbbell bench press variation in there, because the dumbbell bench press is a little bit better on the chest, more chest focused than the barbell. So it's good to have a dumbbell bench variation in there. You want to make sure you're working your chest, because a lot of people that are after a bench press, they don't focus on their chest. They focus a lot on their triceps. So you got to focus on do things that are good for your chest strength, like dumbbell bench press, maybe even dips. I have my clients do dips and push-up supersets. A couple of those, that's torture. Even things like machine chest press, so you can feel that chest moving after you've done some of the heavy work. You got to do some big, badass stuff for your triceps. JM presses, close grip bench presses. You can't just do those baby tricep kickbacks and cable, extensions. You really got to do some compound movements for those triceps. And you got to get your overhead presses strong. Like, you got to do 2 overhead press variations a week. A dumbbell and a barbell, and you need to focus on getting those strong, and that's a really good base. And you also need to make sure that you're taking your back strength seriously, because you want to be as strong as you can from your front to your back. So get those triceps strong, get those shoulders strong, and really focus on getting your chest, working your chest, not just your bench press. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, but I don't know. I think because we do kind of what I call psychopath training. So I'm gonna break down my training for everybody because everybody always asks about it. What we start off doing on today, we did seated chest press. After we did seated chest press, we did curls until your arms is about to fall off. And then I start off with 205 bench. Then I go do that twice, and then I did 225 twice. And then because people called me out last week because I only did 275 on my fifth set, today I did 315 for 2, and then we did tricep work because I'm a crazy person. But at the end of the day, then we have heavy day where we do 5 sets of 5, and I normally start off with 225, 275, then I do like a good one on 335, and I think that's my sticking point right now. That's never too much. That's the baseline. To me, I think I'm regular, but according to the fitness world, I'm not. But I think I'm not doing nothing special. But I think I'm a crazy person, by the way, and I was trained by a crazy person, so it's nothing. But what do you think about that program?
There's some things I would fix if I was coaching. I'd do the heavy stuff first while you're fresh, like your heavy bench fresh. And one thing I always did was do back off work. So I would go in the gym, do my warm ups, and then I'd do my heavy work, like my heavy set. And then I would back off. And like I would go into the gym and say my first set was 365 or 405. I'd kind of vary it depending on how I felt each day. If I felt super fresh, I'd go for 405 for reps. Or if I felt a little mentally fatigued, I'd do 365 for reps. But then I would back down to do 315 for his maximum reps, 275 for maximum reps, 225 for maximum reps. So I get in some volume as well on the bench press. And that was just the sprinkles on the icing on the cake. Then I'd get on to the workout, dumbbell bench and everything else. So it doesn't really matter how you structure it, but you kind of want to do your heavy stuff, your heaviest set first in general, if that makes sense.
So you pretty much saying I'm really psychopath because I'm doing it at the end when I'm super gas. Like I'm already at gas, and then I'm like, I still feel good. I'm gonna lift 315.
That's okay if it's working for you, but like as you age, like I'm 53. I'm old, and you're 42.
Yes, sir.
Eventually that's going to start beating up your shoulders because you're going to try to do the heaviest lift when you're not fresh. So it's working for you, and you don't need to change anything that's working, but you also need to keep one eyeball on Mr. Age, that clock. And I know you might have to change over time to save those shoulders because one day it happens to nearly every heavy bencher. You're going to wake up and those shoulders are going to start to squeak and ache and crack, and they're going to start to yell back at you. So just keep that in mind.
You have a question for Steve?
Do you have a question? I think he answered all of my questions.
I have a personal question.
I always just want to know what's a great place for me to start. Like I said, I started with the walking, and now I'm doing the incline on the treadmill, and I'm doing a little bit of weights. But because of my diabetes, when I found out, I had lost so much weight that my skin just started to do the muscle. The muscle was gone. So I have my skin, of course, but it's no muscle. So it's so hard for me to do this without being scared to having these Charlie horses at night. Those Charlie horses are something else.
Do you soak in like a bath?
Of course I do. You know that.
And still hurt? Mm.
Yeah, I'm in pain. When I say can't move, like don't touch me, it hurt. I don't know. And I guess, is that just a beginner's thing?
Let me ask you, are there exercises you do that treat your body better, or is it just like all of them tend to make you just general soreness?
Yeah, because I haven't worked out in years. It's a general soreness that I get from doing everything. So if I carry my purse, which is always heavy, and I'm walking through the mall for like 2.5, 3 hours, I'm going to feel it that night. So I got another question for you. Is there anything that you recommend for supplements as far as like vitamins and vitamin D, E, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, elemental P? You know, you guys
Well,
know
the
all
first thing
the
I say
tricks.
with lifting, just go in and do one set per exercise and do it really light. Just until your body acclimates. Don't put the weight of the world on your shoulders, and don't feel like you got to stay in there for an hour or else you didn't accomplish anything. Get in there and just do one simple light set, and maybe just do 5 different exercises for one set, and don't pressure yourself. Just kind of ease into it. Take some time. Don't punish your body. Let it come to you. And when you start to feel like, okay, I did one set and I'm feeling pretty good, maybe I can do one set on 6 exercises, maybe one set on 7 exercises, and then slowly build into it. But, start slow, start light, and play around a little bit. See what you like. Try some different things. See if some things are better on your body than others. And, just don't pressure yourself to be a superwoman out of the gate. One small step forward every day, but start slow and easy. I would rather have you just go slow and easy and get in some movement rather than do no movement.
That's a good one. How do you feel about water aerobics?
What's that?
How do you feel about water aerobics?
I would probably drown, but if you can swim, they're great exercise.
Okay. Okay. I was told that that's another way where you really don't feel as much pain as you would, on ground surface.
Yeah, things like water aerobics, and yoga that aren't physically punishing are really, really good for the body. So if you like it, that's a great way to exercise.
Got you. Thank you.
All right. Personal question from the household. My wife and I had this conversation just yesterday, matter of fact. She said, hey, I noticed you had 2 different changes. You had to change when you was all cut up, and you got to change now when you're looking like a bulky truck. So Steve, what look should I go back to? Because I was like, well, Kimberly, that when I was all chopped up, I was 170 some pounds. I'm 238 pounds. I don't know if I can lose like 60 some pounds. That may not happen right now in my life. You might have to deal with the bulky truck. So what would you recommend for a guy in my position where at one point in my life I was able to be a Superman, and now I'm jacked, but it's jacked mixed with a little bit of fat?
Look, when I'm walking down the street, I want people to get out of my way. Not because I want to be a badass or anything, but it's a crazy world. There's a lot of lunatics out there. And when I'm walking down the street, they see me coming. I don't want them to think about, hey, look at that skinny guy. I'm just going to walk through him. I want to think about, I'm going to get out of the way. So I like to be a bigger guy. Like, I like to look like a pro wrestler because people tend to just leave you alone. And I'm not a tough guy or anything like that, but I just like to be left alone. And I also like to be bigger because I feel like I can protect my wife easier. It's harder for me to get tackled or shoved or, pushed around. So, the underwear model stuff, I might save that for my 60s and 70s when people can smack me around anyway.
Yes.
Hey, so you saying go keep on going, young man. Stay bulky like the truck, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. There's too many upsides of being big.
He's your other half, and my other half said my neck is getting too big. I had to literally throw away all my dress shirts. Like, all my dress shirts are in the garbage or donating bin because I can't fit my shirts because my arms are too big. My neck is too big. And then you start getting the tricep, like the triangle neck. So it's all coming in, and it's just all messing me up. So I got to go get a whole new outfit.
Well, you be grateful because this is a lot of people who have
Yes, Kimberly, be grateful.
Fat rolls versus a muscle
Be
roll.
grateful. Now, before we wrap this thing up, Steve, what is your final statement to that young man who's been in a bad position, who think that fitness may be able to get him out of his situation?
That's a good question. Look, you only got one life, and people in life may be treating you like crap and kicking you around, and life may be kicking you around. Maybe your parents kicked you around, and school's kicking you around. But there is so much power. There is so much power, not just physical power, but mental power in taking care of yourself. And you do not, but every positive step you take each day, every positive step is going to grow you stronger and stronger, and it's going to attract more positive people in your life and more positive energy. And you might be I was the guy, right, that didn't have a clue about life, and I didn't have a good body, and I didn't have any confidence, and I was shy around girls. I had nothing. I was depressed. And just by taking one step forward every single day, you can build a pretty spectacular life. And it's not just about building a great body or lifting a lot of weights or running. It's really about being the best self you can be. You only get one life. You only get one chance. And there's a lot of people out there that never get this chance. They die young, they get sick, they're born into awful situations. Don't waste your time. Don't waste it, and don't throw it away on feeling awful every day. By eating crap and not moving. See what you're made of, right? Because like the greatest moments in my life have been when I was pushing to see what I was made of. Last year at the age of 53, I ran for 52 hours because I woke up one day and I said, for my 52nd birthday, I'm going to run for 52 hours. And I was just making stuff up because I'm an idiot, right? But in that process of challenge yourself and taking that one step forward each day, you grow, you change, you learn so much about yourself, and you really build yourself into a superhero, somebody that you respect, and somebody that you admire, right? And ain't nobody in the world can take that away. Out there fighting every day, if you are out there giving it your best, you respect yourself and you learn so much about yourself and you gain so much confidence and mental strength. I can't tell you enough how important it is, just whether it's in the gym or whatever, school or learning or whatever, to get up and just to push yourself harder.
Statement, and that's going to be our definitely that's going to be coming back up again. Steve, my one question: how do you feel about all the fitness beefs out there? Because there's a lot of fitness beefs. I can never do beefs. Like literally in the YouTube world of fitness, there's just some shenanigans. You got Tyrone, the fitness addict, a black dude in the game who lives in Canada who drinks sour milk and sour all other types of stuff and goes to the mall and teach you how to pick up women. You got that dude. You got dudes who fake mercenaries, fake wannabe Marines. You got a lot of fitness. And I can never do what you guys do, because soon as somebody say something crazy about me, I'll be ready to knock on their door. So how do you feel about the world of YouTube and all the craziness that goes on in that world? Because it's crazy sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, my job, I've seen or met most of them or trained with most of them, like the Mr. Olympias and all the YouTube celebrities. And there's two types of people: the people that want to be celebrities and the people that want to help people. And a lot of these knuckleheads, they just want to be celebrities, right? They're just chasing attention, and they get what they deserve because they're not trying to be their best selves. And if you're not squeaky clean and you're out there in chasing to be a celebrity, someone's going to pick you apart. And usually they end up picking themselves apart. So all that kind of fitness beef stuff, you know, I won't say I've been an angel over my life. Sometimes you get pulled into it because somebody's calling you out. It's just like real life. You just wake up and you mind your own business, and then you see a text or something on Facebook. Somebody's calling you out or leaving a stupid comment about you. You didn't even do anything, right? You're just breathing air. And sometimes I've been pulled into that, but I just always try to return it to taking care, trying to help people. And sometimes I just laugh at what they got going on. It's just, sometimes I stop, hit the pause button and laugh, joke about it, but I don't really want any part of it.
Okay. I was joking around with my wife yesterday, but I was almost half serious. I'm one Joe Rogan episode away from taking to the House of Rose shots. What is your? What? I'm one Joe Rogan episode away from going to Kaiser saying, I feel weak and I feel fatigued and I can't focus. I need some T cells, please. So what is your opinion on steroids and people doing outside things other than just motivating themselves?
There's a difference in this industry between like abusers and guys just doing stuff for health, there's a lot of people that use too much. They don't know what they're doing to their body. And I don't criticize anybody. It's their body. If they want to, drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or do steroids or whatever. Life is hard, right? Life is hard, and I do not understand your journey, and I'm not going to criticize your journey. But, that's a slippery slope. You climb up that slope and do that stuff, and when you come down off that mountain, you're not going to feel the same. And that's why I don't like that mountain. I would never climb up a mountain. When I come off of it, I feel worse. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense. And that's what I needed. Because I was one Joe Rogan episode. Every time I turn on Joe Rogan, he's like, I'm on this stuff and I feel great. And I'm like, no, but Joe Rogan started to make some good points.
A little testosterone therapy is, okay as a man gets over 40, but some of these guys, what they're doing, it's like a drugstore experiment.
Hey, I think my last super important question may be, first and foremost, thank you. Because you didn't have to do this. I mean, we are a very small channel, and we're just really getting started. So for someone who's just getting started in the world of YouTube, what would you recommend for us to keep doing, to keep going, to be on your type of level where we can reach more people?
Number one, keep going. Number two, don't doubt your ability to draw an audience, because everybody I talk to says, I'm not a natural speaker. I'm not good on video. That's all lies. That's not the truth. Everybody has an ability to attract their people. Just be sincere, be real, know what you love, do what you love. Always be real with people, right? Don't try to put on a facade or don't try to put on an act. And if you're consistent and you do all that, you'll attract your posse, you'll attract your group, you'll attract your tribe. I've been doing this, man, for 10 years, every single day. And, I didn't win the battle from being charismatic or any of that stuff. I just always remain me, and I try to help people. And my tribe grew from 5,000 to 10,000 to 20,000, and now it's going to be 100,000. And I'm just going to get up every day and do the same thing. That's what you guys need to do. The people that are consistent over time are going to win. And when I say win, What I mean by winning is they're going to attract their people, and by attracting their people, they're going to change lives or make connections or be successful in what they want to be. So just be real, be yourself, uh, and just be consistent. You'll be fine.
Thank
I
you, Steve.
definitely
Because
agree.
it's some days I'll be like, I want to. It'd be some days I'm like, man, I'd be want to throw in the hat. It's easy to keep on doing what I'm doing at my regular job and retire and go off to my golden years. But I truly love what we do, and it's always like I think it was last week I received a message on Facebook from one of the guys I met in Kevin group, and he left a message about his home situation growing up, and I was just like, I needed that day. I needed that comment to keep me going, to keep me inspired. So I appreciate people like yourself, and I appreciate people like Kevin reaching out to me when I'm on this level. I'm nobody famous. You guys don't personally know me. You just met me through happenstance. And I appreciate you taking your time. I appreciate you giving this knowledge that you dropped on us, which was awesome. And I humbly say thank you, because you believed in us at the bottom. And when we get to the top, you can be like, hey, I was there for them.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking your Friday night to talk to me, and it's an honor. I just want to say, like, know what you're about. You know what you're about. Have a focus. What is my mission today? Um, and never stray from your mission. Never stray from your mission. If you don't know your mission, you won't be successful. But if you have a mission, if you know what your purpose is, like my purpose isn't to have six pack abs, and my purpose isn't to this that or the other thing. My purpose is to help people change their bodies and their minds for the better, through exercise. So know your purpose, because if you don't have that, you're not, and you'll be all over the place. So just keep that in mind. And I got to tell you, I'm gonna give you one little insight. The first thing I did when I lost my job was I just started writing. And here I am 14 years later, and I own my own business, right? And I make more money than I ever thought I would ever make, ever, right? Doing what I love. And this is amazing age we live in. Just do what you love and don't stop doing it, and that door will stay open. But the second you close that door, you're closing that door to so much possibility. So just hang tough.
See, you got a final statement before we wrap this up, or a final question?
No, I think I got everything that I pretty much need. I just now need to apply it, and just want to say thank you. Definitely happy and grateful for the opportunity. I wish you were here in person. I would have bought my sons if you were here in person. But I just want to say thank you so much, and continue on with the journey. And do you plan on stopping anytime soon? Is this going to be something that you're going to continue throughout the years to come?
Well, we're filming a documentary right now called 96 Hours, because we decided to see if we could run for 96 hours. And after that, I'm going to try to run a marathon in every state. And after that, I might retire. I don't know.
Okay.
Good luck. God bless you.
Time underneath. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll be definitely checking out your endeavors. Whatever you
that's-
choose to do, we definitely will be following.
I ain't about that life right there. I think my final word of encouragement to anyone out there is to believe that you can do anything that you set your mind to, and all things are possible through God, and a little bit of ass kicking. Now, even though recently he made a terrible judgment on sponsorships, I'm still going to give him the quote for the night.
Who's that?
Ronnie Coleman. Everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but nobody want to lift these heavy ass weights. But I'll do it. All right, Steve, before we wrap this thing up, do you have a final word, final quote, or anything you want to tell the people out there?
No, man, just live an exceptional life. Everybody in this world everybody on social media is trying to define themselves like, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this in their profile, right? But when you get up tomorrow, don't say I'm a this, I'm a that. Just ask yourself, what do I want to do today? And then go do it. Follow your passion that day, and don't box yourself in.
This has been an awesome show. Steve Shaw, once again, from Unpack Radio, myself, DC Baddest, my lovely other half, the First Lady Kim. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're going to stay in touch. I will be sending you the video of the 405 so we can all, look at it and glorify from the dude that don't believe in legs made it to the Mecca. Me and my chicken legs, we're going to do it. But I appreciate you, brother, and I appreciate people like Kevin, and I appreciate Coach Derek Clark, and I appreciate all my fitness family, because without you people keeping me accountable, I probably wouldn't be here today. So that's my final statement. We will be seeing you guys on the 19th. We got a lovely couple coming in, and we got my guy who taught me everything about guns coming in, Michael Morgan, and they just now about to try to pass a crazy gun law bill. So this is the time to talk about guns. Thank you, Steve Shaw, again. Salute. See you next time on Unpack Radio.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.